Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something you might have seen popping up online, BPC 157. It's getting a ton of attention in wellness and recovery circles.
It really is, and our sources, well, they show this fascinating split. You've got exciting lab research on one side, but then some pretty serious warnings from regulators on the other.
Exactly. So our mission today is to kind of break down that contradiction. What is this stuff supposed to do, and why, if it's so popular, is it totally unapproved for anyone to actually use?
Right. Let's start with the basics. What is BPC 157? The name stands for Body Protection Compound 157.
Okay.
And it's synthetic, made in a lab. It's a peptide, which just means it's a short chain of amino acids, only 15 long in this case.
And you might see it sold under other names too, right? Like BPC.
Yeah, BPC, sometimes PL14736. Those pop up.
So what's the big promise? Why are people so interested?
Well, the claims are huge. It's promoted for, like, protecting your organs, massively speeding up healing for pretty much everything. Tendons, muscles, ligaments, bone, even skin.
Wow, okay.
And beyond injuries, people talk about it for anti-aging, for boosting performance. It's positioned as this sort of miracle recovery agent.
That sounds incredible. But this is where we hit that contradiction you mentioned. What's the actual legal situation? Like, where do the regulators stand right now?
Yeah, this is the absolute core of it. You really need to get this. BPC 157 is not a dietary ingredient, period.
Not a supplement.
No. The FDA actually calls it an unapproved drug, and that means it just cannot be legally sold over the counter for people to take. Compounding pharmacies can't legally make it or prescribe it either.
Okay, unapproved drug, that's clear. And it's not just the FDA, is it? What about sports?
Also a total no-go. Our sources are clear. It's on the World Anti-Doping Agency's prohibited list.
WA. Okay.
Yep, under S0 non-approved substances. So for any serious athlete, it's completely banned. And it's also on the Department of Defense list of prohibited ingredients.
So FDA says no, DOD says no, DOD says no.
You buy.
You can still buy it? How does that work?
That's the marketplace conflict. It's wild. You can find products with BPC 157 online quite easily sometimes. They often use this labeling trick. They'll call it a research chemical and slap on a disclaimer saying, not for human consumption.
The loophole.
Kind of, but then, the same websites might have information suggesting how someone could theoretically use it orally, injection, nasal spray. It's this weird legal dance.
So, given all those red flags, why take the risk? What's the science that gets people so excited they're willing to navigate that dodgy territory?
Well, this is where the preclinical stuff gets really interesting. There are hundreds of studies, mostly in animals like rats, mice, dogs, showing some pretty dramatic effects.
Like what?
Really promising results in treating conditions like severe inflammatory bowel disease, things like ulcerative colitis, short bowel syndrome, and it seems to speed up the healing of complex fistulas, too.
Okay, gut health.
Yeah.
What about the injury recovery stuff?
That's maybe even stronger in the animal models. It consistently seems to accelerate healing in soft tissues, tendons, ligaments, muscles. The stuff that usually takes ages to repair properly.
And didn't you mention something about NSAIDs earlier?
Yeah.
Like painkillers.
Yes, that's a huge one. In animal models, it seems to counteract the toxicity, the damage caused by various NSAIDs, which is, potentially massive given how common those drugs are.
So it sounds like a master repair signal in these animals. But, and this is the big but, right?
Yeah.
What about humans?
Exactly. That is the evidence gap. Despite all these animal studies, the benefits you see marketed, and crucially, the safety profile for humans, none of that has been properly evaluated in large-scale human trials.
So we just don't know if it's safe or effective in people.
We don't have the rigorous data. There was one registered clinical trial back in 2015, PCO02, I think it was called, but it didn't lead to any approved uses, so we're still stuck with animal data for the most part.
Okay, let's get to the how then. What's the thinking on the mechanism? How could this tiny peptide do all these things in animals?
The research points towards it activating some really fundamental repair processes. A big one seems to be angiogenesis.
Angiogenesis?
Yeah.
That's building new blood vessels.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It seems to switch that process on, likely by activating a pathway called the VEGFR2 ACT-ENOS pathway. Think of it like telling the body to rapidly build new supply roads, basically to get nutrients and oxygen to damaged areas faster.
Better infrastructure for healing. Got it.
Exactly. And then there's another piece, especially in tissues like tendons, it seems to activate something called the FAK-Paxilin pathway.
And then that one does.
That pathway seems to be involved in getting the actual repair cells to to migrate to the injury site and start rebuilding things more quickly. It's like it tells the construction crew exactly where to go and to hurry up.
So it's like flipping multiple master switches for repair, at least in the animal models.
That's what the preclinical data strongly suggests, yeah.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this for everyone listening. You've got BPC 157, heavily promoted, backed by some really, really intriguing animal studies suggesting broad healing effects, from guts to tendons to protecting against drug side effects.
And it's a huge but.
Right. But legally,
Yeah.
it's an unapproved drug, banned in sports,
Mm.
banned by the military, all because there's just not enough solid human safety and efficacy data.
It's this fascinating, kind of risky gray area. The science in the lab is compelling, no doubt, but the regulatory reality is stark. It's not approved for a reason we lack the human evidence.
So maybe a final thought to leave people chewing on. This stuff, BPC 157, it's actually derived from a protein found in our own stomachs, right, in human gastric juice.
Yeah, a stable fragment of it.
So if this tiny piece of something our own bodies make can trigger such powerful systemic healing in animals fixing wounds that wouldn't otherwise heal, closing fistulas, countering vessel blockages,
Yeah.
what does that suggest about the potential power of our own built-in repair systems, the ones this peptide seems to tap into so effectively?
That's the really provocative question, isn't it? What else is already in us, just waiting for the right signal? It's something to definitely keep thinking about.